सो मैं हूँ एक क्लास 10th का स्टूडेंट। सो अभी हम नोट्स बना रहे थे अपने चैप्टर के मेटल्स एंड नॉन मेटल्स। हम आज ज़्यादा नोट्स बना चुके हैं, बना रहे हैं, जुड़ते नहीं हैं। देखिए लाइव स्ट्रीम और हमारे साथ पढ़ते रहिए। हम भी पढ़ रहे हैं, आप भी पढ़िए इफ़ यू लाइक, अदरवाइज it's all matters you that what do you want to doing and seeing on YouTube and on and any social media app. Okay. Let's study. So firstly, we are studying about ionic compound. What is ionic compound? That's the first question. So here in NCERT there is the definition for the ionic compound. Ionic compound. Okay. So the definition in NCERT included is that the compounds the compounds formed in this manner formed in this manner by the transfer of electrons from metal to non-metal, from a metal to non-metal, are known as ionic compound, are known as ionic compound, ionic compound. Okay, or ionic compounds, CMPO, or electrovalent or electrovalent compounds. So here we have definition of ionic compound. What is mean by ionic compound? The compounds formed in this manner by the transfer of electrons. Here you say that the transfer of electrons occur. So by which any compound formed from to the transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal. Metal is magnesium and non-metal is chromium. So that compound is called ionic compound. Also second name of this compound is called electrovalent compound. Okay. Now we have gone on to the uh, now we gone on to the learn the chemical properties, physical properties or chemical properties, both of these ionic compound that is formed after the transfer of the electrons. Okay, so let's study. Okay, this is better. Now let's start. So firstly we are okay. Now next is properties of ionic compound. Properties of ionic compound What is the properties of ionic compounds? First property said that the physical nature of ionic compounds are solid and are somewhat hard because of the strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions. These compounds are generally brittle and break into pieces when pressed. Okay. First physical property is telling about the physical nature of ionic compounds. Okay. So physical nature के बारे में बता रहे हैं. Ionic compounds are solid. That is the physical nature of ionic compound. Okay. Are somewhat hard because of the strong force of attraction between the positive and negative ions. These compounds are generally brittle and break into small pieces. Pressure is applied. Okay. Why? We write down the reason that why are these ionic compounds are solid in this bracket. Okay. So the reason is that the strong force of attraction force of attraction, between which the strong force of attraction between we represent between by B and W, between the positive and negative ions, and negative ions, between the positive and negative ions. Okay. 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 Now. Okay. Next definition said that next property is that melting and boiling point is again ionic compounds have high melting point and a high boiling point. This is because the considerable amount of energy required to create the stronger internal ionic attraction. Okay. High melting point and high boiling point. High melting point and high boiling point. Okay. Okay. Why? Why they have a high melting point and high boiling point? Because a considerable amount of energy is required to break down the stronger interionic attraction. Stronger interionic attraction. Okay. Now third property said that about the solubility. Okay. Third property. Electrovalent compounds are generally soluble in water and insoluble in soluble soluble in water and insoluble in solvent. Insoluble in which solvents? In solvents. Okay. Such as kerosene, petrol, diesel, kerosene, petrol, and etc.